Great Girlfriends, we invite you to What Women Want 2017, June 15th through 17th in New York City, powered by Prudential. The 2017 What Women Want Conference is all about uniting women from around the world in one weekend with power talks, workshops, dance breaks, beauty and wellness tips, and authentic connectivity that will inspire you to return home ignited to create change. This year, our theme of building bridges and breaking barriers is about women creating connections first with themselves and then with others to lead an outstanding life. At What Women Want, over 200 great girlfriends will go from me to we as our programming will guide girlfriends on living a life full of purpose and power. Connect with like-minded women who stand as bridges towards higher living and meaningful relationships. Gain clarity on what they truly want to manifest in their lives and their friendships, and celebrate the power and passion that women display when we leave all of our cares behind and savor the experience. So last but not least, log on now to whatwomenwantconference.com. Again, that's whatwomenwantconference.com and grab your tickets while they last. We'll see you there. Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. We're your hosts. I'm Sybil Amuti.
And I'm Brandis Daniel.
And we've got guest girlfriend, editor-in-chief of Essence Magazine, Mrs. Vanessa Luca.
Oh, so excited to have you, Vanessa.
Yes, we're so excited. Yes.
Hey, everybody. I'm so happy. I'm pumped to be here.
Vanessa, so many of us know you, and I feel like I was in the Essence office when you had just gotten promoted, though you probably don't even know I was there. And I remember hearing about you before I ever met you, because every one of the staff was talking about how excited they were because everyone had this deep admiration for you and your work ethic and what you had given to the magazine. And so they were just thrilled to have you on board. And I was like, I finally meet her.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I had no idea. I mean, I literally, when I found out, it was the biggest surprise, the biggest shock. You know, you work really hard and you hope that something like this will happen someday, but you can't predict when and if you'll get that chance. You just hope that if you do get the opportunity, that you'll be ready, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would have assumed that you knew you were in line for this, right? And it goes to these preconceived perceptions we have about situations and about people. You're so poised, like you were ready, right, for this role as editor-in-chief of Essence. And it's just pretty cool that you were in a place where you just kind of had your head down doing the work, and then you were actually acknowledged for it. So congratulations.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, once I decided that this was a role that I wanted to, go for, I tried a couple of times. I mean, they had searches several times. So I tried out twice for the role. I didn't get it. But that didn't stop me from thinking that, well, maybe it's just not my time. And that's really how I chose to look at it. Mm-hmm. Like, not that this wasn't something that I could ever achieve, but more that the timing wasn't right and that there were still things that I had to learn. And so I was going to use that time to learn, to figure out, to watch other people in the role, see how they do things, build my skill set, so that then, the next time that an opportunity arose, whether, it was at Essence or elsewhere, I'd be ready. And so it just so happened that by the time the third time really was the charm, right? Uh-huh. And I did feel at that point that I was truly ready because I had learned from some of the best in the business, quite honestly. Everyone from like Susan Taylor, Linda Rosa, Diane Weathers. There were so many editors from Essence that everybody, knows and loves. I had an opportunity to watch them, even Marsha and Gillespie, who worked with us for a short period of time. I look back at that time and I really see that it was definitely meant to be, that I would be able to have some experiences with those folks and just learn from them, learn some of the things that aren't quite always so obvious to the naked eye that you need to know about the job, right?
Mm-hmm. I'd love to know from you, Vanessa. For those of you that are listening, Vanessa is the editor-in-chief of Essence Magazine, is the largest and most fabulous publication for women of color. And so of all the places, I mean, I feel like I know obvious reasons, but of all the places you could plant yourself and your wisdom and your expertise, I feel like you chose Essence and Essence chose you. But what made you choose Essence?
Well, I worked at a number of different places before I came to Essence. Mm-hmm. I worked at Glamour magazine for a number of years as an editorial assistant and a staff writer. I worked at Life magazine for a number of years as a writer as well. But I always felt that Essence was the place where I was going to be. Mm. I mean, there was this column that Susan Taylor wrote years ago that I had framed, and it was on my wall in my bedroom, as a teenager. And I would look at that, column every now and then and say, one day I'm going to work there. One day I'm going to meet her. One day I'm going to be there, right? Yeah. And so I always had a hope that I would find my way to Essence, because I felt like all the experiences that I was getting at the mainstream publications were just preparing me to take all that knowledge and that skill set and bring it to Essence. So when I finally did get an opportunity to go there and work, and this was in the year 2000, Life magazine had shut down, and it just so happened that Essence was looking for a fashion and beauty features editor. And so I applied for that. Monique Greenwood was the editor-in-chief at the time, and I interviewed with her. And then I ended up getting offered the job. So, all the stars aligned and everything. But I feel like I had definitely always made sure I knew people that worked at Essence, that, I can make connections with people at different, networking events, and that people knew that I was interested in coming to work there at some point. Mm-hmm. It just was a matter of, finding the right fit and the right time.
I love that. Vanessa, who are you, just the woman, Vanessa DeLuca?
My son just turned 17. My daughter is going to be 14 in June. So, they're practically, grown-ups, almost out the door. But I still call them my kids. I'm really very simple, down-to-earth kind of person. What I enjoy the most about my life is that I get to meet amazing, extraordinary, interesting women, and I get to have the opportunity to share their story. What I love about being a journalist and being a writer is that you can help people tell their stories, and everybody's got a story. And everybody's story can be meaningful. You just have to listen enough that's, special about them. And I believe there really is something special about everybody. So my job gives me a lot of joy, but my downtime gives me a lot of joy too. I like spending time with my family. We go to the movies, we hang out, we like to go on nice trips, we like to travel. Right now we're trying to plan a trip for the summer vacation for us all, do like a little road trip for about a week and a half, and trying to make, it's fun to kind of put together, well, what do you think they're going to want to do? They don't know about this yet. It's going to be a big surprise.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's like, okay, well, where are we going to go? And what do we think they're going to want to see? And do we think they're really going to enjoy that? That's fun for me, and fun for me and my husband, John. We enjoy doing things together. But it's hard for me to talk about myself. I have to be honest, because I'm used to putting all my energy into talking to other people about themselves and pulling out of them what their lives are like and what their, interests are. I find that I'm learning more about myself every single day, every single day, and and new interests and new reasons, new purposes. Does that make sense?
Yes, Absolutely. It does. Especially when you start plugging in motherhood and all the hoods that come with motherhood, and
yes.
Vanessa, you were talking about your daughter and your son and on the road trip.
So your question was about, well, tell you about myself. I mean, I'm pretty simple. Only child of parents who grew up in Fort Deposit, Alabama. I was actually born in Fort Deposit, Alabama. We moved to New Jersey when I was about a year old. So I grew up as a Jersey girl. Was always very nerdy, geeky, not athletic at all. I was constantly in the library. The library was my home away from home, right? And I just always I just love learning. As I got older and I was able to start traveling, I wanted to go to the places that I read about in books, right? So my favorite things are to travel. I love movies, TV. I love vacations. I love the beach. I love the ocean, to stare at the ocean. I love being part of nature. I think it grounds us, like putting your feet in the sand, feeding your feet in the grass, bare feet in the grass, just really grounds you and reminds you, that we're all part of this beautiful planet and that we need to take care of it and that we should enjoy it and be thankful for the simple things, right? That's really how I spend most of my time. When I'm not at work, I'm at home trying to figure out, how to make sure the family's good, I'm good, and that we're, taking advantage of the life that we have, I can't say that I was always like that. I think it's taken me a while to get to that place where I stopped long enough to really enjoy where I'm at. When I was younger, I was a lot more concerned about, climbing the ladder, making it, and checking off every box and making sure that I felt like I'd accomplished all these different things on the list. Now it's less about that and more about just reminding myself to slow down and just breathe and enjoy where I'm at right now, because it's pretty good.
Absolutely. How did you get there? I literally I was reading this book yesterday.
Yes.
It's called Present Over Perfect. A friend sent it to me for my birthday. And the book was talking about how we run so fast and how we're going like 100 miles an hour. The windows are down. The music is blasting. We stop into a 7-Eleven. We put our mouth up under the Slurpee machine. We get the Slurpee. Slurpee's running down our mouth. Then we run and get back in the car and do the same thing all over again. And she was saying that what she really wanted was a slow walk and one good strawberry.
So true. And it's true. Like, you really get so caught up and it's like, I'm going. And it's kind of like, and then you wonder why. Why am I so exhausted? Why am I sick all the time? Why can't I seem to, why can't I think straight? Why have I not had a creative thought in like 2 months? It's because I haven't gotten quiet. So, but whenever you're really quiet, then all this great stuff comes, right?
Yeah.
You have a minute to breathe and think. So I started kind of taking advice from friends who were saying, you need to set boundaries, right? And the boundaries can be far ranging, right? It can be, I'm going to get to work at this period of time and I'm leaving out the door at this period of time. No matter what comes up, I'm going home. So I can have a nice dinner with my family and or go outside and take a walk or whatever that thing is. Or I'm going to take my time this morning. I don't have to be at work right at this time. I can take my time and maybe have a nice cup of coffee and stare out the window for a minute. It takes you a minute to get there, and I think it's a lot easier when you're in charge, because you can dictate.
Right.
You're the decision maker. You can make those decisions for yourself, though, too, right? So it's taken me a minute to get there, but I used to feel really nervous about making those choices, but now I know that I'm giving my best. The minute that I hit the ground at work, I'm running and I'm giving it my best for the entire time that I'm there. And even sometimes when I'm on my commute home, So it's okay if I take a little bit of that time just for myself, just so that I can remind myself that I'm human and I need a minute, like we all do.
That's my favorite statement.
I need a minute. That's right. We all need to say it. Sometimes I say that at work. Like, it's starting to get really hectic and crazy, and lots of things are coming at me, and I'll just say to whoever's standing in my doorway, you know what, I just need a minute, can you just give me 5 minutes? And I think that's okay. I mean, I think people need to know that even though you're the boss, you're also human, and you get tired or distracted or whatever those things are that happen during the day, and you just need to kind of stop and regroup. I think that's modeling the right behavior. So I never feel badly about showing the team that I'm not, that I don't have it all together. Say, you know what, I really had a crappy day yesterday, or I'm really just not in the best mood today. So please forgive me if I'm not totally, on my game. And I think people appreciate that because it lets them know that they can have those moments too, and it won't be held against them.
Absolutely.
Right?
And we all do. But sometimes we feel like we're in an environment where we have to pretend like we don't.
Well, I mean, I guess that's one of the things I will say is great about, we were talking earlier about working in different work environments that I've been in. What's been great about Essence is I've never had that feeling of I have to continuously prove myself. People understand what I'm bringing to the table, and I feel that way about everybody that's on our team. Like, you don't have to constantly come in feeling like you have to re-prove again and again why you're here. You're here because you're supposed to be. And so you take that worry out of the way, then you're really freeing people up to have their best work. You're freeing them up to not have to worry about that. So if they want to worry about something else, that's fine. But you don't have to worry about whether or not you have a reason to be here. You're here for a reason. And, and that's what I love most about working in an environment primarily Black women. It's not all Black women. We have a diverse team, but it's primarily Black women. And I think we're very mindful and appreciative of that fact and support each other, because we know, and many times we've come from other places where you were maybe the only one, or you had to constantly prove that you were worthy or that you deserved to be in your spot. And nobody wants to have to do that over and over again. So that's one of the reasons why being at Essence is so amazing, because you're surrounded by these extraordinary women who are so passionate about the audience that we serve. And we know what you're going through because we go through it too. And that's why, it's so important to us to make sure we get it right as often as we can. We don't always get it right, but we try every month to get it. We know how important it is that this, that this magazine, this brand speaks to our audience in a way where they feel valued, understood, appreciated, elevated, supported, inspired, all that. And, that's really how we feel.
I love it. I think it's so fantastic, Vanessa, because it sounds like a lot of your leadership comes from your example. And it's more of a collaborative union of people who all share the same mission and the same desire, and who are all on the same quest for really getting what they want out of life and celebrating culture at the same time, which a lot of times Black women feel it's hard to do, right? A lot of us feel like we have to make a choice between whether or not we can celebrate our culture and pursue our mission because of being the only one. And sometimes that isolation makes people forsake identity. And one of the things that I think we regarded highly about you, Vanessa, is how you take your culture and you move it forward, which qualifies you to be a change agent for other people, which is how we can have a cover with amazing women who all stay woke. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Which I just happen to have right here.
It's so epic. So epic.
Listen, it's one of my...
connected to that cover. I was like, yes, Essence, yes.
I'm so, look, you just don't know how happy it makes me to hear you say that, and that feedback that we've gotten from so many people ever since the cover came out last week. Just to know that it really validated what we were feeling, that Black women are doing so many incredible things, and we're such an important part of this push forward, of this movement forward. And we don't want that to be a race. We don't want people to think that. We want people to know that the people who came up with Black Lives Matter hashtag, that those were women of color. We want people to know that some of the women who were orchestrating the Women's March were women of color, and who made it real, who made it happen, were women of color. That all that can easily get pushed under a rug, pushed to the side, and we want to make sure these women and all the women on the list are being acknowledged for what they're doing and bringing to the table, because wherever they are, whatever space they land in, they're doing something that matters. And we can all do it too. I mean, you guys are doing something that matters. You're giving people an opportunity to hear from incredible voices of women who should be heard from, women who have something to say, and that their perspective and philosophy should be shared with others, because that's how we all learn, right? And so we wanted to do this issue because, I just got sick and tired of hearing the negativity around Black women, especially, the way that Bill O'Reilly was talking about Maxine Waters' hair. Her hair, really? Yeah. This woman who's extraordinary, has been serving our communities for decades, and that's what you're trying to reduce her to that? Mm-hmm. I mean, April Ryan is sitting in a White House correspondence, room, just basically doing her job, saying, hey, you're not answering the question, and just kind of challenging, which is what her job is. And then to be told by Sean Spicer, stop shaking your head. No, that's so disrespectful.
Yes.
This is a grown woman. She has a right to question what you're saying, because that's her job. And so, and then the whole thing about Susan Rice and what, she did under the Obama administration. I mean, and very intentionally pinpointing Black women, because, like Zora Neale Hurston said, Black woman is the mule of the world. Like, everybody wants to throw everything on our backs. That's not right. We take on a lot, but we're doing a lot. And so that's why this issue, I think, is really important, not just for us here, but for our young girls too. Like, you can do anything, and you can be impactful and powerful in whatever you choose to do, as long as you're very clear about what you stand for and what you don't stand for. And these women are all really clear about what they stand for, and they're vigilant and they're vocal. And we should be admiring them. We should admire them as much as, we admire our favorite celebrities, right? It's important that they get some shine too. And so, you always wonder if you're taking a risk when you're doing something like this, because everybody always tells you, oh, everybody only cares about the celebrities, right? Nobody's going to buy an issue that has, everyday regular women on the cover. But these women are extraordinary. And just to hear and see and read the tweets and see people sharing it has just made me so very proud of our team and the work that they put into making this happen. And it just validates that, as a community, we show up for people who we know are doing the work, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, it's covered, literally. You gotta be hiding somewhere. It's everywhere. Everywhere. Every blog, all over Instagram. It's everywhere.
As it should be.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. Vanessa, tell us about a time when you struggled with the idea of being Vanessa. Can you share that with us? Do you mind?
Sure. Well, I will say that that's happened several times over my life. It's like everything is a process. I would say coming into this role, following after, just some of the most legendary editors of Essence, Susan L. Taylor was editor-in-chief for 19 years. How do you follow someone with that footprint, right, that imprint in the community? It can be overwhelming, and you wonder, well, how will people receive you, because you feel like you'll be compared. So it took me a while to figure out, do I have to be like Susan? Do I have to do this? Do I have to do that? What's expected of me? What makes me feel comfortable, and how do I push through the things that don't make me so comfortable? Like, when you're used to being the number two person who's kind of behind the scenes and making the trains run and very operational, right? That's a very comfortable place to be in. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, now you have to be a brand ambassador. And you have to think about what you're wearing and what your look is and how your hair is and what you make. I mean, you have to think about all of these things, how you show up in places and what people expect of you. It can be a little overwhelming. So I did struggle with that in the beginning. Like, how do I go from being a very more kind of, introverted type of person and then taking that and showing up as a brand ambassador for a brand that's so beloved by our community, and being accessible and being vulnerable and being, out there.
Yeah.
And I have to tell you, I mean, listen, it took a village. It's like you talk to people and you say, hey, you get opinion, you get help from who you trust. People's opinion you appreciate and you trust and say, I could use some help with this. What do you think I should be doing? Or how do you think that? And I don't feel that I've had to necessarily change the core of who I am. I think I've just had to be more willing to let other people see it. If that makes sense.
That's so good. Yes. Yes. You just have to shine just a little bit more light on that core.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. It took a minute to get there, but everything's a process. I mean, I learned a lot about myself through this will be going into my 5th year. This year's Essence Festival will be going into my 5th year as editor-in-chief. And I feel like those first 2 years were just kind of like, let me see, let me kind of navigate my way through and figure things out. But now I'm a lot more comfortable in the role and what I want other people to get out of it, for themselves. So I think that makes it a lot easier when when it's not really so much about, it's really not about me. It's about our audience. It's about the work. And when I stay focused on that, then I don't feel so self-conscious.
We have so many people who listen to the podcast who are in that 21, 22, 23-year-old range. Our age range really varies. And I got an email the other day from a young lady who wants to be an editor. And I just wonder, at the age of 18, 19, 20 for you, what gave you the confidence, the audacity, the power, the strength to say, one day I can be editor-in-chief of a magazine? Like, what is that thing in you? Like, what was that in you that said, I can do this?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think it's that thing of knowing that I may not know it all, but I'm smart enough to know when to ask for help, and I'm smart enough to figure it out. Like, I know what I don't know. And sometimes you need to just recognize that, like, I know what I know, and I know what I don't know. And you work on the things that you don't know, whether that's asking for help, whether that's going back to school, whether that's, studying up more, pushing yourself, taking classes at night. I did all those things. And quite honestly, I didn't really start thinking about being an editor at a magazine until I'd been out of college for like about 7 years. I wanted to be a fashion buyer originally.
Wow.
That was my goal. And I realized after I got into it, I worked in retail for a number of years, that it just wasn't for me. It was a lot more statistics and math and all of that, more than I thought, I'm just going to be getting on planes and flying to Paris and Milan. It's like, wait a minute. Right. No, that's not what this is, right? And it just wasn't the right fit. But I knew that there was something there. I love fashion. I love beauty. So I just transferred that skill set into something that I also knew that I loved, which is I was an English major in college. And I figured, I can take this and I can go work at a magazine and I can cover fashion and beauty at a magazine. And that would be kind of like the perfect mashup of the two worlds, right? So you may not know right off the bat where you're headed, but every single thing that you do is going to build to that next thing. And along the way, you're going to figure it out. And once you kind of figure it out, then it's a matter of, well, do I have enough? Have I built the right foundation? Right. Mm-hmm. And if I built the right foundation then I can, just learning the job that's the part that's, I can make something happen, but I have to be sure that I'm really grounded in what the absolute essential tools are. Mm-hmm. So, even after I worked at Glamour for like 3 years, I left. I went back to school for a year and got my master's in journalism at Columbia Grad School of Journalism because I never worked for my school newspaper in college. I never, I felt like I was a career changer, but I just didn't have the basic, the core info, or to feel like I could just go and write about anything. So that's why I went back to school. And once I did that program, and that was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life.
Harder than Harvard?
Hard. One of the hardest things I've ever done in my life.
So you guys see how I just threw that Harvard in there, right? Because yes, Vanessa does have a degree from Harvard.
It was harder than Harvard undergrad. Yes, believe it or not. Because it was like 10 years later, I graduated. I had been out of college for 10 years. And I said, oh, yeah, I'm going to go back to school. And, of course, everybody thought I was crazy. My editor thought I was crazy. She's like, you're already doing the job. Why are you leaving? I'm like, because I feel like there's something more I need. I need to do this. And my parents are like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Are you going to just stay in one place? And I'm like, well, this is important. I'm going to do this. I need to do this. And it was only a 9-month program, and I did it, and I got a lot out of it. I met people from the industry at the school because the teachers are people from the industry. And I ended up getting a job. That's how I got my job at Life magazine. And one of my professors sent me to Time to meet with some people, and I interviewed with a bunch of folks, and I ended up landing at Life magazine. So, it's like you listen to the, I try not to listen, don't listen too much to the naysayers because that's like a waste of time. Right. But you listen to yourself and what you feel like you need and what you're ready for, or when you need to make a change. And I trust my intuition, I trust my gut a lot, and I know when it's time to do something different or to make a move or to make a shift, and then you do it. And that's what I would tell my younger self. I would say, try lots of different jobs, because I had lots of different jobs in those 7 years before I decided to go into magazines. But all of those jobs taught me something, and I used every single thing that I learned at those other jobs in the work that I do now, So it's not so much getting the right job at the right, right out the gate. Sometimes it's even better not to, because you appreciate the right job that much more.
We have so many people who listen to the podcast who are in that 21, 22, 23-year-old range. Our age range really varies. And I got an email the other day from a young lady who wants to be an editor. And I just wonder, at the age of 18, 19, 20 for you, what gave you the confidence, the audacity, the power, the strength to say, one day I can be editor-in-chief of a magazine? Like, what is that thing in you? Like, what was that in you that said, I can do this?
Yeah, yes, you're right. After doing, I was a sales manager for a couple years because I did the Macy's, management program. I was a sales manager. Then I became a furniture buyer for a while. Then I moved to the May Company and was a product developer, developing product lines for them for a while. And it just, I tried all these different things and it still just didn't feel right. But parts of the job required me to write. So when it was time to start pitching myself as someone who could do fashion writing and beauty writing, I called on those things that I had done. And then also I created a story for myself to make it easier for people to understand why, after you've been out of college for 7 years, you want to start over from scratch, be an editorial assistant, making like no money, getting coffee, making Xeroxes, all that stuff. And so, I had to take a typing test, the whole nine. And I interviewed with I swear, I think I interviewed for this editorial assistant job at Glamour at least with 5 different times, with 5 different people, all wondering, why would you want to do this? Like, like you're 30 something, 30, why would you want to do this? And I just kept telling them, which was what was true, was that this is something that I really want to do. And I know that this is a great place where I can learn and I can bring something to the table that other people can't, because I've already been out in the work world. So I have a different professional level of professionalism and work ethic than somebody who's coming straight out of school. So you're going to get a lot out of me, even more so than what you would get out of somebody coming straight out of school. I mean, I literally created this story for myself, and I made sure that I was consistent in telling every single person that I met with the same story, so that they would know that I was clear about what I was doing and why I was doing it. Otherwise, I knew that they wouldn't take me seriously. And then, and so as it so happens, after the company that I worked for relocated to St. Louis, I didn't want to move with them. That gave me an opening to try something different. I was like, okay, well, now is the time. I don't have kids. I'm not married. I can make this change, and it's not going to impact on a whole bunch of people's lives. The only people's lives that impacted on was my parents, because I moved back in with because I couldn't afford my apartment anymore.
They're like, what is going on?
You were like, well, I thought we got rid of you, but he's back in, And I was like, it's just not going to be for that long. It's not going to be for that long. It's really okay. Like, I just need to get on my feet. I'm not making a lot of money right now, but I'm going to be making a lot of, trust me, right? So, yeah, I just started over, making like no money, living with my parents. But in that time, I worked at Glamour for 3 years. I got promoted twice in 3 years. Wow. So I moved along very quickly. And then I realized I got as far as I probably could without having greater base of knowledge. And that's when I decided, let me go to Columbia. Let me get like a real, because they teach like true newspaper, boots on the ground, reporting skills. And I was like, if I can get through that program, then after that, I can do anything. Wow. So, and that was it was the hardest 9 months of my life. I was newly married by then. So I was like a newlywed running from my house in from my home in Newark, New Jersey to New York, reporting all over the city, late nights. It was an election year, so we were covering a lot. It was crazy. It was a crazy, crazy year. But it was so worth it. I mean, that year gave me the confidence to say, you know what, you can throw anything at me and I can write about it, It also kind of helped me meet some people who started talking to me about editing, because I had never thought about editing. I thought I just wanted to write. And they were like, no, your mind is really, you have a mind, the way that you organize your thoughts and the way that you approach stories is really like how an editor would do it. And you should think about editing. And I was like, but I want to be like, I was like, I want to be the next great American writer, right? And they're like, yeah, okay, but you should think about this too. So that also planted the seed right there. And, I started listening a little bit more, because more than one person, after that would tell me that. And I started thinking about it more. And that's really when I thought, oh, okay, well, if I can do this, then I could be an editor-in-chief one day.
That. Oh, I love it. I love that. There is still something that has to be in you to even think that. Like there are people who are working at a magazine right now who may have been there for a very long time, but they've never even had the thought that they could be an editor-in-chief.
I guess I don't know. I can't explain it, to be honest with you. I think I just always wanted to be in a decision-making position. I always wanted to be the kind of editor that could make stories happen. And I've always had big ideas. And you have to have a big job to make big ideas happen, right? And so when you look at everybody who's making the big ideas happen, it's usually the editor-in-chief, right? Yes. That's coming up with things, or her senior executive team. And so I thought, okay, I've done this. All right, that's great. I've done this. Okay, that's good. I'm still, honestly, always challenging myself because I think that's what keeps you energized, right?
Right.
Like, why, just like rest on your laurels? Like, that's boring. I mean, I never want to do that. I never ever want to do that. I always feel like, okay, so like now, everybody loves this cover. I'm like, okay, what are we going to do now? It's like, okay, now I've got like a new goal. How are we going to top this? But that's a great goal to have, it just means that we're doing our best for this audience always, and that's what we're supposed to be doing. Not taking her for granted, not assuming that we're giving her everything she wants. We're supposed to give her things that she doesn't even know that she needs. That's really what it is.
That's so good. Oh my gosh, the win, the win, the win. That's awesome. Vanessa, I think one of the most important, pieces to Essence is that, and I'll speak to Essence, and I'm going to speak to obviously what makes Essence what it is that first of all, we all think we own Essence. Like, you can't tell an Essence reader that it's not her magazine. You can't tell us that it's not our magazine and that everything is specifically written and crafted for us, and that we have a stake in it. That's the level of commitment that I think each of the editors, your predecessors, have shown, and that you continue to show, and which is what made that cover so monumental, because it said to all of the extraordinary change agents on ground, yes, you do have a stake. You do. Like, this really is a devotion to you as much as it is you to us. So it's a mutual feeling. But it really lines up with what Brandis and I, for our conference this year, our theme is building bridges and breaking barriers. And we chose that theme because we feel like so many times women look at the ways that we're different. And we decided that the curlies don't have as much in common with the straight haired girls, or the browns and the whites, that we're completely different, but there's so much more in common. And even at Essence, I see the alignment of you guys building or crafting unity for all women in the messaging, and giving a story that we all can connect and thrive with, which is about being the best right where you are and continuing to weave your story. But how do you, as a human, as a woman, because it's not just Essence, Essence is a piece of your story, but there's this, your entire ecosystem is much larger than Essence. But how do you make sure, because I feel like you have a devotion that's just a part of you. Did it come from your parents? Is it part of your upbringing? Was it something that you just turned on? But where do you get that devotion to that mission?
I think it really does come from was instilled in me from my parents. My parents, Fort Deposit, Alabama is in Lowndes County, which was like the seat of a lot of the civil rights movement, right? My mom would tell me stories about Stokely Carmichael coming to town or sneaking into town, and all of this, me, myself included, unbeknownst to me, I guess I was like in diapers, sneaking off to a church to go hear him speak. My dad marching, and they would tell these stories at the kitchen table. Like, everything I've ever learned that was meaningful has been sitting at the kitchen table with my parents and talking to them. And they would really talk about what they went through as kids and growing up in the South, what that experience was like, and how hard it was, and how neither one of my parents will ever move back to the South because of the things that they saw and the things that they witnessed. Not being able to swim in the same swimming pool of the town, having to be, being treated certain kinds of ways in town at the supermarket, things like that. All kinds of things that they went through. And so that has an impact on you. And you realize, number one, well, their goal was to make sure that I never had to go through stuff like that, or if I did, that I would be prepared for, the facing injustices, or the things that happen to us because of race, gender, and class, right? Mm-hmm. So, I think I always felt that it was part of my responsibility to make sure that if I'm, whatever I'm doing, that it's representing our community well, and that it's serving us in a way that helps somebody. That's just the way that it's supposed to be. I was never really given Like it's not an option. It's just this is an expectation, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's definitely built into my way of thinking about what we do or how I move around in the world. It's one of the things that's hard for me is when people want to, you see people who want to come be in the business and they want to ask for advice and help. And I wish I could, it's like, I want to help everybody, but it's like you have like this much bandwidth and this much time and this much, energy and this much. So I try to do the best that I can, but I do see that Essence is a place where a lot of young Black women can come and learn how to be great writers, editors, thinkers, creators. We are a great training ground for folks who I know someday are going to, leave Essence, they're going to go somewhere else, and they're going to do some amazing things. I think that's an important role for us. That's why I always insist that we have interns every summer, even though everybody's cutting their budgets and this and that. I'm like, but no, we have to have some interns because we have to have some young people here who can experience this and then take what they've learned somewhere else. That's part of our responsibility for being around for 47 years. So yeah, I think all of that comes from just that grounding with my parents, making sure that I understand the sacrifices people made for me to be able to do what I do and travel in the circles that I travel in and represent for so many of us in the spaces that, I'm called to represent us in, that I cannot take that lightly. I do feel a responsibility and I'm glad for it, quite honestly. How many people can say that they wake up every morning specifically to do something that's going to serve Black women and it's exciting? That people that comes into people's homes, millions of women's homes, either on your phone, on your laptop, in print. When you come to Essence Festival, all of that matters. It's like giving people an opportunity to be reminded yet again that we deserve this. We deserve joy. We deserve to feel beautiful. We deserve happiness. We deserve great relationships. We deserve to be taken seriously. We deserve the money we're supposed to earn.
Yes.
All of that, and it's not easy because the world is rough. And especially now, its political climate is tough.
Absolutely.
So, you need even more armor to get through it and just be reminded, hey, okay, I'm still, my existence on this planet still matters. And this is why.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really important.
You don't know this, Vanessa, but right now, you got a quilt laid out, and me and Sybil are just kind of leaning on you.
I was thinking the same thing.
You don't know this, or either look, she's on a hammock and we're on either side of you. We're all swinging and listening, and we're humming while you're talking.
I feel so good right now. I feel so much peace right now. I feel so much ease. I feel so much, I feel a rededication. I feel all this amazingness. You have such a soothing presence in nature, Vanessa, that it's just, it's transcending through the Skype line right now.
I'm glad, it's just that I just really believe that, we're going to be our own saviors. We are already just like, your conference, Breaking Down Barriers, that's, and building bridges. This is what we have to do in order to make it happen. You have to be willing to share those parts of yourself that are vulnerable. And people have always told us that we can't do that because we have to be strong and we can't show that we need to be treated with kindness, right? And joy. And that's just a myth, right? So, I appreciate this opportunity to sit with you guys and share because it gives me peace, knowing, hey, this is going to be a great conference. People are going to have, they're going to come and get filled up and make some great connections. and it's gonna help feed this right energy into our spirit so we can keep going. Because Lord knows, it's like there's a whole bunch of forces trying to like chip away at that every single day.
Yeah.
And every single day. And you need to go to conferences like What Women Want, to remind yourself, this is what I really, this is who I am at my core. And when you're having a really bad day, you think back to when you went to that, and you met someone, you heard some words that were inspiring to you, and it helps get you through the next, the next hurdle, the next obstacle, because there are going to be many of them. But conferences like this reassure you that you're not alone, that you have support, and that, there are people who are rooting for you.
And it's so true. It's so true, Vanessa, because it's probably, Sybil and I, when we started the Great Girlfriends, we committed ourselves to total vulnerability, which is not easy. So when you say shining that light, neither one of us had ever shined that light on our core to this podcast. Mm-hmm. And, people can go back through, we've told everything, how we met our husbands, how, our biggest failures, like all these mistakes we made. And when people come to the conference, we really sincerely ask all our speakers to bring all of themselves to the table. Yeah. And last year, before we had even gotten to the conference part, Michelle Thornton actually opened up our conference from Centric last year. And before we had even gotten there, at the VIP breakfast, about 80% of the room was in tears. Because the woman we had opening it had just opened herself up, and then it allowed the entire room to. And imagine if the power in that, if we just continue to, it's fine. Yes, we got the Superwoman cape on, but like take it off and show like this is everything. Because then it says to someone else, oh my God, if she has all these flaws, then then maybe I can make it too.
True. It's true because, you only get to see, a certain, slice of, or, just the surface of people most of the time. You don't really get to hear, when they weren't so perfect, or when, they totally messed that up, or when, they thought they were failures as parents, or, all the things that we go through. Mm-hmm. And when you hear somebody share that, then it's like, okay, I have permission to be imperfect too. Mm-hmm. It's like you just want to hear somebody else say it. Like I mess up. I'm not perfect. There's plenty of times when I don't have all the answers, I don't have it right. And that's okay. I say that a lot. We have meetings and I'm like, I don't have the answer to this, like, I think this is a good idea, but I really don't know. And if anybody in this room disagrees with me, go have at it. Like, I want to hear it because I don't know everything and I don't have all the answers. Oh, and, that gives people an opportunity to say, well, actually, I think this, or that. Not that you have to manage everything that way, because then it becomes a free-for-all. You still have to be, at the end of the day, the decision maker, right? But it does give people an opportunity to feel like, well, okay, now you said that, and you have to, people need to hear it, people just need to hear sometimes that you don't have all the answers, you don't think that you're perfect, you don't believe that your way is the only way, because I don't believe any of that, but, and that other people have great ideas, and you want to bring the best out of everybody. That's, if we had more of that, I feel like, we'd be
connected.
We'd be so much more connected, because then it's not like I have to constantly prove that I'm okay. Right. It's like I can just say, you know what, I'm not okay all the time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's really nothing wrong with that.
Well, thank you so much for everything you said about What Women Want. It's so real and so true, and we're so happy to do it again. But it's sort of, just so we love Essence as well. It's sort of our kickoff to Essence Festival. And
yes,
Festival is like the ultimate family reunion. And
yes.
Yes, last year after we came back, I think we did a few activations last year at Essence Festival. We came back, we did a full episode. We let our audience know it is the family reunion. We can't explain it. It's just something that you need to mark on your calendar. You have to be a part of it because you need to connect with our culture in such a deep and meaningful way. Essence Festival does it like no other.
Like no other.
You can't explain it. Like, I've tried to explain to people what it feels like to be there. You know, they're like, well, what happens? What do you do? I'm like, I'm going to tell you what happens, but you cannot. It's like, this is not going to do it justice. Like, you have to come and just feel the energy of the city. Everybody's in a good mood. Everybody's ready to have fun.
Love.
You know, we're just loving on each other and connecting and really appreciating our culture, appreciating our shared love of our music, our culture, our community, our style, our beauty. Like, all of those things are celebrated at Essence Festival. And there's no experience like it. They're just bar none. And what's so extraordinary about it is that you see people from everywhere, from the youngest to the oldest.
Yeah.
And people are decked out with smiles on their faces and just ready to just soak up everything, every experience.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, every year it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. More screenings, more money and power seminars for people who want to build businesses, more beauty and style expos, you know, to share like latest hairstyles and fashion and all that. The empowerment experience literally is going to be a woke wonderland this year. We're going to have many of the speakers from the cover story are going to be at Festival this year. Maxine Waters, April Ryan, April Rain, Lovey, Cleo Wade, Mary Pat Hector. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's so many amazing speakers who are going to be there just to continue the conversation that we started with this issue. And I'm so excited to go. I cannot wait. I think it's just going to be amazing. Not to mention the fact that Diana Ross is going to be performing for the first time at Essence Festival, like ever.
Oh my goodness!
I'm going to be in the front row.
Yeah. That is so fantastic.
Singing to the top of my lungs like a fool, you know, just because you know all her music and everything's so amazing.
Yes.
She's just extraordinary, right? Who doesn't love Diana Ross? So I'm excited for her too, and Chance the Rapper. Oh, and then Mary J. Blige is curating a whole night of music, just all women, Saturday night. So it's Mary J. Blige, Chaka Khan, Jill Scott, Monica. I know I'm forgetting somebody. But
I have to sing my part in I'm Every Woman. I hope she calls me up. I'm ready.
Listen, get ready.
I'm ready. I didn't know this, but now I'm ready. I'm so ready.
My God. I love it so much. I've been every year since 2013, the year I got married.
Yes.
I've been there every single year and love every second of it. I tell people it's like you walk down the street and women are like, I love your hair. Oh, I love your shoes. Oh my goodness, I love your dress. And it's like, where do you get that?
Yeah.
You know?
It's true.
It's just
true. It's a very unique experience.
It
like,
is.
You know, you have to be there to know.
Well, we're super excited. We will definitely be in the house this year, so we're excited. Super excited. Vanessa, what do you want every single woman listening to this episode to know about themselves?
Wow. That's hard. Just know that I want every woman listening to this to know that you are more than enough. Just the way that you are.
I love it. I love it. Well, I think that's a wrap.
Oh, so good speaking with you.
This was so amazing. Such a privilege.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel so good. We've had a few of these experiences where we felt like we were literally like rocking along with somebody we were talking.
Yeah. It was just that assurance that comes from a sister to another sister. And that's what I felt tonight was just that reassurance that we're not alone, that we're all together in this. And that, yes,
and that we're covered. Like that somebody is at the helm of one of the most important magazines in the world for me, and that we're covered. Like we're good because she's amazing. So we're good.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys spending time, taking the time to inviting me to talk with you. And I'm really looking forward to June. I know it's going to be a great day, great weekend.
Yes.
And so I'll see you soon.
Absolutely. And we like to close out our episodes, Vanessa, with thanking our hubbies.
Okay, thank you, John. Thank you, John. Thank you to my kids also, Miles and Madison.
I love it. Look, she just knew, Sybil. And I want to thank my husband, Rich Daniel, and my little 1-year-old, Miss Sky Daniel. Sky Grace.
Oh, thank you, Kwaku and Sam and Dylan. And thank you, great girlfriends, for trusting us as your go-to source for everything life, love, and laughter. Make sure you listen each Wednesday on iTunes, Stitcher, Podcast Bean, Podcast Republic, Blueberry, and every other podcasting service. Be sure to check us out on social on Instagram,
The Great Girlfriend,
on Twitter,
_great_GFS,
on Facebook,
The Great Girlfriends.
And make sure you check out our Facebook group. We're almost 17,000 strong, which is also The Great Girlfriends. Make sure you post your questions online. You share with your friends. Keep listening
and keep being a great girlfriend.
I'm Sybil.
And I'm Brandis.
And we are signing off. Peace.